evening, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Can you hear me at all? Maybe it's not working. That's why we need to fix that. Hello, is this better? No. Jonathan, save us.
Hello, hello. I just had to turn the volume on.
Ah, no volume, but now we have volume. Can you hear me now? Okay. It's kind of big. But anyway, well, welcome. Thank you for coming tonight to Green Drinks. We're so glad you would come spend a cool evening with us. Speaking of cool, before we move on to anything else, except that my name is Leslie, if you haven't met me before, the air conditioning is partially working, if you're worried. So don't worry, we're all dressed fashionably this evening for sweating, probably. And we won't tonight because there are plenty of great drinks coming in. But also in the back, there's lots of ice water, plenty of glasses. Keep refilling if you need to get up and do that. We want to make sure we're taking good care of you and each other. These two are working in case you're looking and going, well, it seems like it's working, but there's one in the back that's not. So, coming down there? Okay. So anyway, that was a big question, so we want to make sure we address it right away. Who has not been to Green Drinks before? Raise your hand. Be brave. Welcome for the first time. That's great. We're so glad you came to join us this evening. We meet regularly the first Wednesday of the month for those of you that are new to us. And we've been here for almost 18 years this September, so that's coming up soon, which is pretty cool. We have an all-volunteer committee who I want you to know about. Right here sits the tech team. This is Erin, Grace, and Anne. That's right. Who are very important to getting this all set up. And by the way, hello, Zoom friends. I forgot to greet you again, but we have, they're there. Sorry, I see them there. And hello, everybody. Glad you're here, and we always want to keep making the circle bigger, so that's why we make sure that we include the Zoom. Also on our committee is Nancy Sheetzel, Pat, there she is, and Carl in the back, and Carolyn, Lynn, and Zach, and Nathan. Where'd Nathan go? There he is. It's only one thing at a time that I can manage sometimes. And we're informal and friendly, and if you didn't notice. So anyway, we're part of something that is international, if you're not familiar with Green Drinks as well. So there's over 400 of them in the world. People are gathering, meeting, and talking about the environment over maybe a drink, maybe a meal, or just a glass of water. It doesn't matter. Coming together, building community, educating that community, and then connecting back to the community are really our goals. And that's what we've been doing here. And so all around the world, that's happening and really cool. So yeah, so we also have two co-sponsors, if you aren't aware, Duke's Ale House, who's housed us for all these years. And then Defenders, yes, give them a hand for sure. And they are, and Sir Zach, the manager for Duke's, is also part of our committee. And then Defenders of McHenry County are our other. Yes, I'm pointing over here because these are two of the fine staff for Defenders. So we always want to make sure we pay attention to them. 50%, there you go. That's good. Yeah. So anyhow, next month we are going to do what, Nancy? Come and tell us.
Next month, our topic is going to, yes, sorry.
That's okay.
Next month, the topic is going to be the food system that we built and the one that we need. And the presenter is going to be Scott Bricks. A lot of you know Scott because of his connections with the Food Shed Co-op. And so he'll be talking about, how exploring the local food movements and community-owned cooperatives can contribute to creating a more resilient and sustainable food system for us. And then some of you may have received an email from Zach Dolezal just this week about a project he's starting on called Local Source, where he is wanting to try to connect local farmers directly with consumers. And I don't know much about that, but anyway, at the end of Scott's talk next month, we're going to take a few minutes and hear from Zach about his Local Source project as well that fits right in there with the food system that we need. So that's for August.
Yeah, it'll be great. And Zach is currently down in the kitchen sweating away, making sure we are having great food, and he sends his greetings too. So I think that's all we need to know for this evening, except to introduce our speaker, who is Mollie Dunn. Now, you may have heard of Mollie previously. That's right. Come up. all the way in Woodstock, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what is fast fashion and why we need to be more sustainable in our clothing choices. So, take it away. Thank you for being here.
Hi, I'm Mollie Dunn. I own the vintage store Fulfilled in Woodstock. I'm a little nervous and shaky because sustainable fashion is so important to me. It's my entire life's work, and I feel this presentation is a culmination of a lot of that, so I'm really excited to share it with you all. I worked for a couple sustainable clothing brands, and I've just been making sustainable fashion content online for over a decade because I didn't see anyone else talking about that in the online fashion spaces. And studying fashion in school, I learned how bad it was for the environment. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do fashion? I always thought that was going to be my thing. I'm an environmentalist and it's so complicated, but I couldn't stay away. I found my way back through sustainable fashion. Are we going to present?
That should be good.
Perfect. Okay, so I have a definition of sustainable fashion here, which is an approach to creating and consuming fashion that is environmentally and socially responsible. So I'm going to take you through a global lens, what it means globally, locally, what's the impact locally, and what can we do, and then personally, what can we do as people. And I'll leave you with some takeaways of what we can all do. But first, I'm going to get into some of the darker, negative stuff to get that out of the way.
Could be okay in the top right. You can click OK at the top too. Get rid of that guy.
Okay.
Perfect.
It'll go away over time. Okay. Globally, what it means for the world. 92 million tons of textile waste are generated annually. That is a mix of scraps. When you cut out a garment to sew it, there's scraps, but then a lot of the kind of top producers overproduce. They make more than what they can sell, and then that is thrown away a lot of the times to protect their brand integrity. And then a lot of the clothing that we're giving to the thrift stores is not sold here. It's sold in bulk to countries like Ghana, Chile, and it's honestly a lot of fun run t-shirts and single-use t-shirts, and that's not sellable. Nobody wants that. And where does it go? It ends up in their waterways. It ruins local economies.
How does that happen?
Well, we'll do the questions at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, you're doing it?
Rural fisherman Rahman Bachway told us the nets cast from boats here gather a lot of rubbish alongside fish.
Then now we are starting collecting the rubbish, putting one side, then we collect the fish to one side.
It's one more headache for communities already struggling with unpredictable weather conditions and large commercial fleets that leave very little for small operators to catch, and fishmongers like Mariam Abubakari to sell.
This is nothing. I mean, she says sometimes you come here, there's nothing, and you have to go back empty-handed. Yeah. So she's saying that, I mean, with this situation, how can I make money to take care of my family?
It's very obvious to see all.
Okay. So their nets are catching more clothes than they're catching fish. And you asked, how does that happen? I don't 100% know, and I can get back to you on that, but I think it's because they import so much from us, and if it's not sellable, where do they put it? It has to go somewhere. And so potentially some dumping is happening, and yeah. This is the fast fashion cemetery in Chile. It is the driest place on Earth. In fact, NASA tests their Mars rovers because the climate is really similar to Mars, which is cool. But what they're known most for is this massive landfill of fast fashion waste that can be seen from outer space.
Many bales of jeans have arrived. Now they're all dirty. We can't reuse them. This is a Lee brand jean. This is Gap. It's a brand we really like here. On the internet, when you search for Alto Hospicio, you come across videos saying this is the ugliest place in the world. We're just a little town tucked away in the north of Chile, but people know us because of that description.
The clothes end up here after being transported through the port of Iquique. It's a customs-free zone where merchandise is generally exempt from taxes. Over 60,000 tons of clothes arrive every year from Europe and all over the world, stocking warehouses like this one. Hundreds of wholesalers have a stake in the business.
We get our supplies from several places in the US, New York, New Jersey.
So we give our clothes to the thrift store and we think we're giving them away, but there's no away. We don't see it here, but that girl showing us the garbage dump, she doesn't want to live in a city that's known because there's this massive landfill of fast fashion that you can see from the city. In Ghana, where a lot of the clothing is shipped, when they test their water, their drinking water, there's fibers in their drinking water. Is this working? Okay.
No, it's fine. Just pointing this way so you can't tell. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So who's at fault here? Gap, which we don't often think of as a fast fashion brand anymore. They were the original fast fashion. They opened tons and tons of stores, and every month there was a new colorway in the window, a new had to have color. And that, if you think about like the suiting and the tailoring from the 80s, and then the like loose fit grunge look of the 90s, it literally brought us away from considering clothes an investment and something important and that is worthwhile to take time. And you could look cool in the Gap styles, the celebrities in the videos, for relatively cheap. Their t-shirts were like 20 and turtlenecks were just like a little bit more than that. But so Gap really like paved the way for like speeding up and the customer expecting to go to the store and there always be new stuff. And then H&M, Zara, and Forever 21, they were like the major players, and they still are. Forever 21's not really around anymore. It doesn't matter. Zara, they were able to see a celebrity outfit and produce it and have it in their stores a month from that. So them and Gap, they all kind of pushed the fashion cycles, which used to be spring, summer, fall, winter, 2 cycles, maybe resort, to 16 fashion cycles a year. Because if you've ever been to an H&M, every time you go there, there's new stuff. And we're trained to expect that. And now there's Shein. And Shein makes those brands seem not that bad, which is a huge issue, obviously. I have 2 charts here. The top chart is the Shein's market share. So they're making the most out of anybody. Next is Inditex, who owns Zara, and then H&M. And then the bottom chart is the amount of new styles added to Shein's website every day. And it is 314,000 styles on Shein. And so when you see H&M and Zara, those baddies that me as a sustainable fashion girl would never shop at H&M, they're putting out 4,000 new styles a day, and Shein's putting out 300,000. Okay, so why do we care about sustainability? I think it's for the people, to make sure everybody living on Earth has a good time and is doing good. And so the most important thing of all of this is that fashion has a long history of the people at the bottom of the totem pole being treated really poorly and actually really unsafely. There was the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. It was the Industrial Revolution. We were mass producing for the first time, and they closed the windows and locked the doors so people would like stay inside making faster. And they closed the windows so they couldn't look outside and see stuff and get distracted. And yeah, a fire happened and they had to either jump out the top window or die. And then we have the Rana Plaza collapse in 2013. Over time, a lot of production moved to Bangladesh, and the workers told the managers that there were cracks in the building, and they were like, this is going to collapse. And it did collapse. They did nothing, and people died. Even in the US, 80% of contractors, this was a 2023 study, 80% of the people making clothes in Southern California were found to be violating minimum wage laws. So I have this quote from the executive director of the UN Environmental Program. Pretty cool girl, but this is all going together. We don't value garments anymore, and they're so cheap to produce, and it's always the people at the bottom that have like the really bad impacts, and the global south and all of that. So she said, unsustainable fashion is aggravating the triple planetary crisis of climate change, nature, land, and biodiversity loss, and pollution and waste. We need to focus on a circular economy that values sustainable production, reuse, and repair. So if we think about the recycle triangle, recycle is supposed to be the last resort. First, we're supposed to reuse what we have. Then we're supposed to we're supposed to reduce and buy less and not need so much. Then we're supposed to repair, and then recycle is the very last resort. Because it doesn't go anywhere. There is really, in textiles are really, really complicated to recycle, which that could be a whole nother presentation, which I'm not gonna like super get into here, but like it doesn't really happen. But people like H&M will lie to you and tell you that it does. Okay, locally, so all this bad stuff is going on. What do we have control over? I like the phrase, think globally, act locally. It's about thinking about like our goals and values and taking actions in a way that supports that. So buying from Amazon supports Amazon, it fuels overproduction, and all the money goes up to the top. If we buy locally, slowing down, maybe you're not getting something delivered to your door, but you go down the street to the vintage store in Woodstock and you have a conversation with the shop owner, and it's really nice. And that money is directly strengthening your local economies because the taxes that small businesses pay come back to the community, but large businesses oftentimes get tax breaks. And so it's not going back to the community. It's all going to Walmart. It's all going to Aldi. It's all going to Plains Farm and Fleet. Just thinking about Woodstock specifically. Yeah, supporting small businesses creates local jobs and reduces environmental impact because you're buying from someone who ordered everything in bulk in their store, if that's how their business runs, versus ordering one-off items from China. And we're creating local jobs, and the more like work that is done here and less commuting, less emissions. Bottom line, buying just one thing from a small business helps your neighbors and the environment. But is any of it working? So having focused on sustainable fashion since my early 20s, I'm in my 30s now, I've seen it change a lot. So it started out, no one was talking about it, and then it became a buzzword, and now we have Shein breaking all records of production that have ever been broken. So I had to ask myself, is this even working for this presentation? And here's what I think. The consumer is becoming educated again. The consumer once was educated about textiles. In the back of, I think it was Sears catalogs, had like charts of like, these are the best textiles. This is like why you would pay for this one. And then there were like 3 tiers, maybe if you had were on more of a budget, but people really tried to buy the best clothes that they could with their money. They had few garments, they wore them all the time. And the argument that, well, fast fashion exists for the needy and they should just be allowed to buy from them, I just like really don't agree with, because it wasn't like that before. We spend way less of our paycheck on clothes than we ever did. It was considered an investment because you got your look that was your look and you were just going to wear that. And everybody did that. And there was like really good clothing produced that's like that would blow you out of the water for what we're buying now on the lowest level. And budget clothing was seen as like a bad thing. Now it's seen as like that's how it's supposed to be. So working in retail and interacting with the general public every day, I see the consumer getting more educated. They want cotton, they want silk, they want wool, they don't want polyester. And I see that in the online fashion spaces as well. So to me, that's a positive sign. And then Vinted is a peer-to-peer resale marketplace. It's kind of like Poshmark. They're just kind of starting their US push as far as advertising goes, but it's not as popular here. It charted as the 3rd largest retailer in terms of revenue in the UK. So that's really showing that the consumer wants to buy secondhand. They're buying and selling to each other. Ethical brands demand fair treatment of workers. In order to have certain certifications like SEDEX, SMETA, you have to have audits of your factories. And without those brands, those audits might not be happening as often. So that's how we can find out how people are getting treated and make sure it's better. People online really were like, Shein, there's no way you're producing 300,000 new items a day or getting them online in a day, which means there's like way more than that because each item has like a size run, right? There's no way you're doing that and treating people fairly. And so they got a bunch of fines, they had to do audits, and now they have like a posted plan on their website. This is like how people are treated. This is what we're doing. So talking about it online and asking people to do better is working. All right. So unfortunately, a lot of this stuff like doesn't affect us unless we understand how it affects us, which is part of the reason why I showed like that photo and video in Ghana. To me is like the grossest thing ever. And I don't know, that like changed my life, you know, seeing that. But as people having all this stuff, we're less happy overall. Other people aren't happy, and we're taking actions that are ruining their lives and ours. I like the paradox of choice, and I think about it all the time, and that's actually how that's like my ethos for my store. I don't want to have like an overwhelm of stuff. It's the principle that too many options can mean less satisfaction and more anxiety. We feel like we have nothing to wear, and every item brought into our home is a future task. We have to think, I don't want this anymore. Am I going to bring it to the thrift? Am I going to see if my friends want it? And yeah, it's just like another thing to do. We don't need any more things to do. So what do we do? I like to say you can be kind to yourself and still practice sustainable fashion. You're going to continue to wear the clothes you already own. You're going to do your best to shop local first. You're going to find your local tailor and cobbler and go to them. And if you wear a pair of shoes out and you don't take them in time and you have to throw them away, some stuff like literally does just have to be thrown away, unfortunately. But you're going to say, I'm going to do better next time. You're not going to beat yourself up, because kind of dwelling in that shame keeps you from making the right actions and the right choices. And we're not going to get rid of all of our fast fashion clothes. We're not even going to not shop it at the thrift, depending on what it is. Good quality stuff can come from anywhere. It's about knowing what to look for. So tell your kids, thrift Shein, don't buy it new. There's so much cute Shein at the thrift. Everything I pick up, I'm like, oh, is this vintage? No, it's Shein. Oh, is this vintage? No, it's Shein. It's not made nicely, but if you need a going out top, just thrift a Shein one and wear it the 3 times, and that would be better than ordering new from them. Okay, so how do we identify quality garments? At the thrift, we're going to look for cotton, wool, linen, silk, and leather. Natural textiles retain their value. We just like wearing them more because they're more breathable, and they will biodegrade, versus polyester, which most of our clothes are made from polyester now, will never degrade. It'll be here forever. And then if we're going to buy new at retail, we're going to look for certain hallmarks of quality. Lined jackets and skirts, prints and patterns, you don't want them to be stark white on the back side, because that generally means it was digitally printed. You want the seams to be covered or hidden. You want finished hems. When the fabric is gently stretched, you don't want it to pucker around the seams, and the stitching needs to be uneven. Is not uneven. You want it to be even. So that's why I have these garments here. If you have clean hands, you can come up here, and I'm gonna, cause this is my Hermes silk blouse. So please do not put greasy fingers on it. But I want to show you different quality. So please come up. Someone come up. Caitlin, come up. Yeah, right now. Okay, so I'm not saying you have to buy Hermes, but you can find it reasonably priced on the RealReal, and it is one of the few luxury brands I think, like, I can't say worth its price point, but they actually like try to do a good job. All of these seams are completely finished. There's no serging, there's no loose threads, and everything is really consistent. They're all really even. Just sitting in the back, you can see that the lines stitched on each side of this button placket are like completely even. And then this is a thing I really like that I thrifted, but it is not made well. First of all of the side seams are serged, and this material will just get hairy. Like, you'll get a bunch of little threads, and if this like flops open, this is like, you're not supposed to see this. You don't want to see that. And then you can actually see that the panels don't line up. One of them is really egregious, and I'm not seeing it. Yeah, she's got it. The panels don't line up, and some of the seams are like really bunchy and really wavy, and others are straight. And I thrifted this, and it already like came with this part, kind of came out. And so that's from ASOS. So thank you, Caitlin. Yeah, so you want to look for the stitching to be completely straight and not puckering, because if it's puckering, that means that they had the wrong tension on the sewing machine. And stuff like this, you can just really see that it was made for mass production, because they're not even trying to line up each section. Okay, we have too much stuff. We have nothing to wear. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna put everything that you're not reaching for, not currently vibing with in your wardrobe, in a timeout. So it can be a different closet, a Rubbermaid tub. It's not a big deal because you're not getting rid of it. You're just like, not right now. And maybe I will like you again in the future, and if I think of it, I can go get it. But it's out of your sight. Then when you look in your closet every day, you see only your favorite clothes, your heavy hitters, your tried and trues, things that you know you're always gonna feel good in. And maybe you're going to identify some gaps. Maybe you won't. Maybe you're like, my closet is perfect. I'm loving getting dressed every morning. Everything goes together. I'm feeling great. I had some gaps this summer. I did this, and I didn't have any like nice little tops. I was good on like every category, but nothing to like put together a little dressier look. So I thrifted a couple tops, and I identified those gaps, and now I don't want any more clothes. I'm vibing. I'm loving getting dressed every single day. When I think I'm gonna go look on the RealReal for some Prada cargo pants, I'm like, no, I actually don't want to, because I literally don't want any more items. Like, I'm so happy with what I have, and I love getting dressed. And when you have that experience, you won't want anything else too. So we're coming to the end here. Just a little bit about my store and what I do and why I'm here talking to you. And our manifesto for Fulfilled is, we believe shopping should be done slowly, locally, and mindfully, that the exchange of funds should connect community, not fuel the capitalist machine. And we truly believe that one of the many antidotes to overconsumption is found in slowing down, appreciating what you have, and appreciating, if you do shop, adding one new thing to your wardrobe. Because if you go out to Woodfield and you buy an entire new summer outfit, you're gonna just feel stressed putting that all in your closet that's already bulging. If you get one new piece that you can style a bunch of your stuff with and feels really good and new and fresh, that's all you need. Yeah, I'm in Woodstock, and we differentiate from other shops by providing on-trend, cutting-edge awareness of fashion and sustainability. And that's it. Thank you. I think questions? Yeah. We'll open it up to questions now. Yes.
So where do you source the stuff that's in the top?
Well, I wouldn't be a very good business owner if I gave up that IP. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Want to unload? Oh, do
Definitely.
you purchase from people who want to unload some of
Yeah.
their designer clothes, like
And-
people like me who
Yeah.
have
That's my
Oh,
favorite. That's my favorite
and
way.
under bed boxes
source.
and yeah.
That's my favorite way to source. I like to say the clothes find us.
You know, like Vinted now. You know, there's Vinted, and before we go to Vinted, we should go to you.
You should go to me, and I'll give you a little bit of money, but it'll be less than the time to take photos of all the clothes,
It's local.
list them online, figure out how to ship them.
Too much hassle.
It's a lot of hassle, and I do all of that. So
Yeah, and it's also
That's
because
my
we're
job.
supporting a local business,
Yeah.
which to all of us is so important.
and I also take just donations of clothes. That's
Cool.
that's another
That's good
favorite
too.
way. People have just like left stuff, which please don't do that. But I've gotten some amazing stuff that way. Someone left like a 70s like prom dress. Very cool.
But you don't want our 5K t-shirts.
Unless it's like if it's like a really cool graphic, I'll look at it.
Is it
Yeah.
vintage?
From 5K in 1972.
That's right.
What's the best way to get rid of clothes nobody wants?
Cut them up and turn them into rags for your house. Yeah.
A lot of rags already.
I can answer that.
You can.
The Environmental Defenders has at their recycling drives, they have, and also at Algonquin Township is the Helping Hands. And that is all used for recycling they want the scraps. They don't want the good stuff. They want the scraps.
Do they make it like into mattress pads locally and carpet pads?
Yeah.
Aaron knows.
It's typically made into
maybe.
shoddy, which is like used for insulation, stuffing, stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They break them down into
The mic. You need the mic.
I'll give Erin a moment to finish eating. They break them down into textiles and reuse them in different ways. Helping Hands specifically source them into categories. They were here. When was that? January?
Yeah.
They were here in January and so they kind of sort it. Erin can talk more now.
But ideally, you will take ownership of all the things that you already own and see them to their end of their life because they can only do so much.
One thing I will say is a good
Question to ask if you're going to be donating stuff is where the sorting takes place. I found the real issue is if the sorting is not done here domestically, we're creating, like Mollie has already alluded to, a significant waste problem for people that are dealing with so many different issues. So it's really important that sorting takes place as close to home as possible, because that will help kind of hinder that wide open dumping that we saw on the PBS special.
So the Algonquin Township drop box is a good place for that.
That is Helping Hands at Algonquin Township.
It's for local.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you go to, I know like I've met in the past with Goodwill, they do some sorting, but these for-profit thrift stores are really tricky on where they're sending that material. So
Yeah, I think it's the stats like they throw away 8 carts of clothes a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Goodwill
Oh,
does
yeah.
that.
Goodwill, Salvation Army, they're all shipping. They have like contracts with overseas and it's all going over there.
Yeah, and they just pay by the pound. It's like cents on the dollar, and can send a whole lot at one time.
So that's why anything that I'm going to buy, I think, do I want to see this item to the end of its life? And usually the answer is no. It's no, because
Then they
we
don't
have to
buy.
think about all this stuff and like whether it's going to actually be used correctly, whether they're going to truly recycle it. It's better to just not.
Any other questions?
But don't throw it away either. You have to keep it.
Any questions?
Can you talk a little bit about, like, I know there's a lot of discussion right now about using natural fibers, but it's also dependent on how those natural fibers are obtained, like wool and cotton and stuff like that. Do you have any information about how to best source like ethical natural fibers?
Yeah. There are all sorts of certifications. Organic cotton is better. I am of the camp that if consumers only buy natural textiles, the giants will have to produce less because it is so much more expensive for a yard of wool than it is for a yard of viscose polyester blend. It's not perfect, but that's the importance of slowing down and using what we have. We just really like wearing natural textiles way more, and I don't think you'll need as much if you stop buying polyester.
They hold up better too when you're sweaty like us.
Also, a couple of the most
only over there.
A couple of the most sustainable textiles, linen and tencel, take really, they don't need as much water to produce. So that's really good.
Cotton uses a ton.
Yeah. Tencel is a plant. Yeah, like linen. Yeah.
So a specific brand, are there other versions?
It's not a brand.
It's a glorified rayon. Is that what tencel is?
It's a textile. It's like wool.
Okay. I thought it was a brand name thing.
I think that there is some branding there, but
made out of beech trees or something?
Something like that.
Yeah. Like beech trees.
What is the problem with serged seams?
It's not a hard and fast rule. Things can be serged and it can be good. For a textile like this, if the seams are serged on the inside, I would want to see a lining because this is so thin and can get really all the little hairs coming off. So I would want to see a lining to protect that from ever happening. So it depends on what textile you're using it on, but it does have its uses. It's just if you're paying a lot for an item, you don't want to see the side seams all serged. You don't want that. It won't last as long.
Anyone else? Back of the room. Okay.
Yep. I take shoes.
I wanted to ask about, you see a lot of fabrics now that say made of recycled plastics. I wondered what you thought about that.
That is worse than buying new polyester in my mind because the plastic water bottles could go and become a plastic water bottle, but if recycled plastic becomes a textile, that is taking it out of the cycle of recycling because then it can't be recycled after that point because it's already an inferior fiber, and if you try to spin that into new fiber, it won't be good enough to use for garments.
How about bamboo?
I don't really know a lot about bamboo.
This shirt is bamboo.
Nice.
So this shirt is bamboo and organic cotton and with wooden buttons. It's not to be dried in the dryer. Bamboo grows naturally. It doesn't take any extra water or anything else, no fertilizers. And organic cotton uses less water and less fertilizers and is hand-picked. And this can decompose.
Yep.
Cool.
And it's really good when you're hot and stinky.
Good. Yeah, breathable.
I know they advertise a lot for sheets and stuff because it is.
Yes. Yep. And it does work. I have my sleepwear is bamboo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can just compost it.
Could you speak about repairing clothing and stuff like that? Can you speak to repairing or mending clothing, like seams and etc.? Yeah.
I mean, that is a skill that more people used to have and I think should have. And my mom taught me how to sew, and so I can do repairs on my stuff, but I wish to see more people doing that. But my the dry cleaner in Woodstock, they do mending and tailoring, and I take stuff there that a lot of it's stuff that I tried to do and failed, and they do it for me. Sewing on a button is really easy. So easy. Mending little holes, pretty easy too. A seam, you probably want a sewing machine for that unless you have a lot of patience and a steady hand. But if that's something you want to do, YouTube is a great place. We can all learn how to do anything, which is so cool.
Example of that, I had some jeans that had holes across here, and I'm not into that fashion look. And literally, I saw on YouTube a way to weave literally through the jean material over the hole.
Yes.
So I took embroidery thread and had a lot of fun playing with colors and weaving.
It is so fun.
Yep, you'll have to bring a picture.
We'll wear them anytime.
Yep.
Actually, can you make a shout out for the Green Living?
I think at the Green Living Expo there was the mending as well. That was awesome last year. Yeah.
The Defenders Waste Reduction Action Team has hosted a mending event in the past. It was really awesome. There's people there that are experienced with sewing machines and also hand sewing. We should be hosting one again, either like the summer, maybe fall. So look out for that event. But the people teaching are super educated, very knowledgeable and everything. And it's a really fun event to go to.
My shirt.
My shirt. Oh, my shirt is made from dead stock fabric. That was made by a woman in. Oh, okay. That was made by this woman in Italy, and everything in her shop is made from dead stock fabric, and she makes it there. And she used to do like cotton and hemp and everything like that, and more sustainable fabrics. But she also found it was more sustainable to just use fabrics that were ending up in the landfill.
Any other questions for Mollie? If not, anyone else want to talk about what they're wearing tonight that might be vintage, might be sustainable, or ask questions of Mollie as far as whether what's better than what you've got or something?
The clothes you already have are the best clothes.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Do you have kids stuff, and can you speak in general about kids who are into the cool stuff and shopping? Obviously, some of these slides I will share with my nieces and nephews I'm seeing this weekend, but can you speak to that a bit?
Do you have kid sizes?
I don't currently have kids clothes because I don't have kids, but one of my friends told me that I know kids, and so it's not weird, so I can. So I'm gonna hopefully expand to that. It's hard to be good at everything, and I know a lot about women's clothing. I know a lot about jewelry, vintage jewelry. It's a new area to like spread myself into. So.
If you go to some of the consignment vintage shops or consignment thrift shops, those people there will know what the top brands are for kids. And I know there's one that's next to the Vitalent in Crystal Lake, which is the Blood Donation Center. And that one there specifically focuses on kids' clothes at only the high quality kids' clothes. So you're going to get a deal reusing someone else's clothes that are of high quality. Anyone else? Anyone else wear anything?
The younger generations really like thrifting.
Yeah, they love it.
They love it. How old are the kids that you're asking about?
8, 10, 11, 12.
When I started thrifting.
Oh my gosh.
I did. I went to the church garage sale. Yeah, church rummage sale. Yeah, my church was bigger than her
That's
church.
hard, but thrifting kids' clothes is really nice because it kind of is like a set price. Like at Savers, all kid stuff is like not going to be over $5, where the adult stuff is getting to be like $16.99. I guess like the message to them would be you get to like be whoever you want, and you get to like create this persona. You get to live out different like aesthetics that you think that you might want by like thrifting it versus buying it new, because it's more cost effective and it's better for the environment.
Anyone else? Nancy.
I thought it might just be fun to have a show of hands. How many of us actually wear our clothes until they almost disintegrate? Just a show of hands. So we are at least an audience that is into that area of sustainability.
Cradle to grave.
I mean, if you're wearing it until it's literally done, it did its job. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, one more. I've got to check my watch.
Shout out, I got these shorts at a clothing swap that Mollie hosted at her shop.
Yay! Thank you.
Yeah, Mollie has those clothing swaps periodically.
Are there any specific brands that people can look into if they're interested, like if they're trying to fill a gap in their wardrobe? I know there's probably a lot, but
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like hesitant to recommend any company that's producing new garments like on a public stage, but if you ask me directly one-on-one, I'll tell you.
Anyone else? Well, thank you very much, Molly.
Thank you. You've been lovely.
That was well done. Does anybody else have something they're wearing today they would be willing to show, tell? No? Yeah, there we go.
This is what I used to wear way back in the 70s, and this came from a friend recently who thought I might like it. I love it.
I love it.
Very cute.
No, that's good. I see. I knew there'd be other people.
It used to be yours. Mom missed it.
That's great. Yeah, that's good.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. No, well, this has been wonderful. So, Molly, thank you so much. And then we're going to move into our, I forgot to mention that we always do some community announcements at the end. So if you have something that is appropriate to share with our environmental group here of a program that's coming up, an event, volunteer opportunity, so we can get people connected back to the community, we'll give you a whole minute to tell us about it. If you promise to tell us who you are and who you're representing, if you're representing something, I'm going to get her first and then we'll go backward.
Pat Dekoff and I and many people here, Marty Swanson, and I'm sure many of you belong to the Citizens Climate Lobby chapter in McHenry County. And we meet now on the second Thursday at 2:00 in the afternoon or on Zoom at Ricklepick, the Richfield Crystal Lake Presbyterian Church. So the 9th will be our next meeting, and you're welcome.
Thank you, Beth.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready? Yep. Hi, I'm Nancy Gonzi-York with the Wildflower Preservation and Propagation Committee, and we help you to have native plants in your own yard. So you can always find us at thewppc.org, and we have all kinds of programs to help you do that. This time of year, we have our native yard walks, and on Sunday, July 26th, we have a walk through a beautiful 3-acre prairie in Bull Valley that was restored by sea. So please come and join us. You can find that information on thewppc.org. And I will also remind everybody, please shop at the food shed.
Yes.
Is everybody here familiar with the food shed? Yes? Yeah. Yay. Okay. Yes. So please remember, I know it's farmers market season. Everybody's going to the farmers market, but if you can try to once a month, put the food shed on your calendar to go and visit them and go shop there. That would be really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Brenda.
And speaking of garden walks, our Master Gardener, University of Illinois Extension Master Gardener Garden Walk is coming up on July 11th, which is Saturday. And you can purchase tickets the morning of at the start, which is at the demonstration garden at McHenry County College. Just find parking lot C and you will see all of us there. That's the first garden, and there are 9 total, 7 total, something like that. Anyway, it's Saturday morning, July 11th. Thanks.
Can't miss it. It's the best.
Okay, I'm giving myself 1 minute. I want to support the WPPC. I'm volunteer with the Fox Waterway Agency, and yesterday on the second hottest day of the year, we planted over 40 native plants in a rain garden that were donated by the WPPC as part of a demonstration garden. So you can go see what a rain garden will look like on the corner of the building at the Fox Waterway. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. So thank you, WPPC. Oh, they're at 45 South Pistachey Lake Road in Fox Lake, Illinois.
Thank you, Anne, for
Oh, you're
doing
welcome.
that on the hottest day of the year.
Yeah, hottest day of the year.
Oh, they're more fun.
Carolyn? Thanks.
Hi, Carolyn Campbell. Right now I'm going to represent, I guess, the Conservation District, McHenry County Conservation District. I sit on the Conservation Foundation, but they have out, and I do not know how long it's out for, but if you go to their website at mccdistrict.org, so MCCD, and then spell out district. .org, and they have a community survey out there. And the reason for that is they're in the process of their strategic planning going for 20, and I think it's out to 2040, but they're looking to 2070, which becomes their 100-year anniversary. So the more input they get is going to be great for them, help shape that future. So please weigh in if you can. Thanks.
The deadline is July 17th.
Thank you. I did not know.
So the deadline was July 17th. Anybody else? Wait, hold on. I'm back here already still.
Hi, my name is Nancy Sabota, and I'm the membership chair for Friends of Moraine Hills State Park. We have our annual picnic coming up on July 18th. Everybody is welcome. If you want to join Friends of Moraine Hills, it's $25 a year for a sole person or $30 for a family, and your contribution goes towards park enhancements, like we put in a new dock for kayaks, a new launch, the Purple Martin House, educational events and things like that. So July 18th, Friends of Moraine Hills State Park. Visit our website for more information.
Bill?
I'd like to encourage everybody to volunteer for the styrofoam recycling on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There are many opportunities available. You can sign up at the Defender's website. There's you can click on volunteer, and there are times available. There are 3 times available tomorrow.
Thanks. And styrofoam recycling is very popular. Don't buy styrofoam. Okay, anyone else? Oh, Erin.
Hi, everybody. Erin Kennedy with the Environmental Defenders of McHenry County. Just wanted to welcome any new faces here, let you know that this is kind of a standing event. So the first Wednesday of every month, we have a different environmental program offered to you guys to network and be with like-minded people and get some information so we can spread it out into the community. If you're interested in looking at past green drinks, they're all on the Defenders YouTube channel. So I invite you all to take a look so you can get an idea of the scope of the different programs that are available. And then going off of the styrofoam, we are desperately in need of volunteers. As of June 2nd, every Tuesday and Thursday, the Algonquin Township Road District facility is open from 9 to 2. So if you could help us spread the word, let people know that program is back. And we're hoping that we can extend or expand those hours to give more people an opportunity to drop off that necessary item.
9 to 2. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yay!
That's pretty good. So we want to give another thank you to Molly for coming. Yeah. And our next program is in August, first Wednesday. Don't forget, that'll be a great one too. So thanks, Nancy, for setting that up. And then I hope your gardens are growing well. Keep watering them and yourselves. Take good care of yourself. But also as we come to this big holiday time that I'm sure you've been hearing about for a while, keep remembering that we are interdependent. We have so many of our human family throughout the world that we really need to care for too, and this beautiful planet. So do what you can to keep caring for our planet. Plenty of ways to be volunteering if you are looking for them. We can help get you connected. And then just take care of yourself and each other. And we will see you back in August. And thank you again for coming. And don't forget to pay Alyssa on the way out. Alyssa, thank you for working with us tonight too. Thank you. Go Pat, yeah. All right, and those of you that came for the first time, we hope we'll see you again sometime. Thank you for joining us. Happy summer, everybody.